Welcome back to another video. It's been a very long time, but we are around halfway through the season with Arsenal, and you know what? It's not even been that bad, has it? It's not been too bad. So halfway through the season, we're in January now. The January transfer window just opened. We're pretty much, I think we're just over halfway through the Premier League games. So I thought, well, let's do a tier list. I do love a tier list. Let's do a little ranking of all the players in the first team on their season so far. So yeah, the tiers we've got today are player of the year worthy, very good, okay, not good enough, and it's time to go. I've done this sort of thing before. And yeah, so let's go. So that's no better place to start with the goalkeepers. I think we'll go goalkeepers, defence, midfielders, and attackers. That basically that works. So let's start off with Bernd Leno. It's been a bit weird with Leno, obviously. Played the first 3 games, which we lost, although that wasn't really his fault, let's be honest. Probably made 1 or 2 of the 13 goals we conceded in those first 3 Premier League games, probably were his fault. But it wasn't really down to him. Did lose his place to new signing Aaron Ramsdale, but I don't think it's really down to him. It's more down to the performances of Aaron Ramsdale. So we'll put Leno in okay. I mean, he got man of the match against Leeds in the Carabao Cup, so I think it's been okay for Leonard. Ramsdale, on the other hand, he's got to be player of the year worthy. I mean, I think I'll probably put 2 or 3 into there, and he's definitely one of them. He's been absolutely excellent. Proved a lot of people, including myself, very much wrong, and I'm very, very happy to admit that. He's not even been the saves he made. Obviously, he's made some excellent saves. That one from Maddison's free kick at Leicester's one everyone remembers, but it's more of his command of his area, his distribution, which has really impressed me, and his personality as well. Always engaging with the fans. His celebrations for whenever we score always a highlight as well. So yeah, he's become a fan favourite already, and yeah, it's all down to his great work. So hopefully he can keep it up. Now let's start with the defenders. We'll go Callum Chambers. It's okay. I mean, he's been here a long time now. I don't mind. I like Chambers. I think that he's a decent squad player, but is he good enough for us? Not really. But I think we can keep him around just to be a decent squad player. I think it's the same for Rob Holding as well. He's not good enough to start, but as a backup option, I think he's solid. So yeah, I think it's just okay. Really, neither of them really done much this season. Who else can we go with defenders? Let's go with Pablo Mari. I mean, he's got to go. Not good enough, hasn't he? I think if obviously he had 2 games, he played the 2 at the start of the season. Brentford and Chelsea was really bad in both of them. Lukaku absolutely destroyed him in that game at the Emirates. Yeah, not good enough for Pablo Mari, unfortunately. But someone who has been very good is another one of our summer signings, Ben White. A lot of eyebrows were raised, 50 million. It was a lot of money, but he has more than repaid that faith. Been absolutely excellent after a bit of a rough debut against Brentford. Since then, he's been almost flawless. Been absolutely excellent. Showed great composure on the ball. Can really pick a pass as well. Still very young. It's good to see that he's the myth of him, not being dominant in the air, not being, a strong defender has been put to bed. He's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, a player who I've again another player who's really won the hearts of the fan base. After quite a few were a bit sceptical at first. So massive big ups to Ben White there. Kolasinac, it's time to go. He's just not good enough. Shouldn't be at the club, and he's on high wages. Get him out. No, nothing personal. Just shouldn't be here. Kieran Tierney, I do really like Kieran Tierney. He's one of, and again another fan's favourite. We know what a quality player he can be. It's just about keeping him fit. Once again, really unfortunately struggled with injuries. I mean, we know it's going to happen with him. It always is every season, which is a real big shame. But ever since he's come back from the injury, he's been brilliant. Before that was okay. He's probably on the end of very good and okay. I'll put him in very good, but it'll be like back here. I'm very good. He's probably in between. We're going to be honest. And the other left back, Nuno Tavares, where is he? Here he is. He has also been very good. Came in as a relative unknown. None of them knew who he was, but he's been really impressive when he came in for Tierney. Obviously, he was keeping out the team even after he came back from his injury for a few games. Really, really energetic player. I describe him as. He's really strong. He reminds me like he's got the strength of Kolasinac, but he's actually like kind of useful. Good on his right foot as well. Very quick. Very still raw. You can tell he's like Like he often just bombs down the side, and gets to a point where he actually does need to cross and or like show a bit of end product, and he kind of does like shy away from that a bit. Or he can be quite rash when it comes to defending, but overall, again, he's another very young player. But yeah, he's been very good, been very impressive, very good going forward. But again, still a bit raw defensively, but very for the fee that we paid for him, he's been absolutely excellent. Who else is there? Let's go with Tomiyasu. Again, excellent, very good. I think he's probably just been better than Ben White if it actually allows me to put him above. There we go. Tomiyasu again came in as a relative unknown, but what a player, what a signing. He's again another fan's favourite already. I think the fan base really endeared themselves to a lot of these new signings, and he's been absolutely brilliant. Still so young at 22 years old. Absolute bargain of what was 18 million. One of the most underrated signings, I think. Really hasn't been talked about enough outside of Arsenal anyway. So strong, like his defensive awareness of like where to position himself, his reading of the game. He pocketed the likes of Sterling, Son this season. He does have slight limitations going forward, but it's not, honestly, it's not like Wan-Bissaka where he gets to the the edge of the 18-yard box when he needs to cross the ball and has a nosebleed. He's a really decent cross of the ball. Quite quick as well. I mean, I think he's got like 68 pace on FIFA. It's a joke. He's a lot quicker than that. But yeah, what excellent player. I've been really impressed with him this season. And still waiting for that apology from Sky. Cover. Another defender who's been one of my favourite players this year. Currently suspended after getting a red card against Man City, unfortunately, but it's not going to show how good he's been this season. Gabriel, in fact, I think I'm going to put him player of the year, whatever. I think he's been absolutely immense this season. What a player this guy is. Probably, in my opinion, probably our best signing post-Wenger. When you look at the price, the difference he makes to our back line cannot be underestimated. He's just again so young. Like I wouldn't think. Sometimes I forget how young he is. Like he plays and reminds me of someone who's in their 26, 27 years old. He's still only, I think he just turned 24, still only 23. He's 6 years off his prime as a centre back, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. He chipped in with 1 or 2 goals this season as well. I know he scored away at Leicester, which is a big goal as well, and recently become a father, so congratulations to him in that sense. Is that done with the defenders? I think we are, unless you can't make the Niles a defender, but I wouldn't do that. So let's go on to the midfielders, and oh no, we've got Cedric as a defender, but yeah, it's not good enough. Don't really know what to say about Cedric, really, just sort of there. Midfielders. Right, let's start off with a man who divides their fan base a lot. Some people like him, a lot of people don't like him. I do like him. He does have his limitations, but I do see what he brings to this team. It's Granit Xhaka, and I think okay is a bit harsh, only because he hasn't really played many games. Obviously, he came in for the Spurs actually. Was absolutely brilliant in that game, but unfortunately suffered a bit of a bad injury, like damaged ligaments or something. But came in classic Granit Xhaka style, came back very quickly. You can see why every manager, in fact, absolutely loves him. His fitness is an absolute joke. Came back about a month ahead of schedule, and has come back and been really solid. Obviously, gave away that penalty against City, but personally, I don't think it was a penalty. I didn't think Granit did much wrong. Do I want better? Yes, I do think we need to upgrade him, because I don't think he's good enough for a club that wants to get into Champions League, but he is a decent player, and I do think he deserves a bit more respect, because he is a really decent footballer. He just needs to cut that mistake out of his game, and obviously he can lose his head quite easily. We know how he's a very aggressive player. He's a very passionate player. And you can see he loves the club. He's a good leader as well, and I do like Granit Xhaka, so I'm going to put him in high okay. Another midfielder, Mo Elneny. He's the definition of Elneny, really. Just does the job. You know what you're going to get from him. Sits in there. Often been our guy to bring on C games out at times, and 15 minutes to go, sits in midfield, runs it, chases balls down, keeps the ball moving, does his thing. So yeah, just there for Elneny, really. Nothing more you can say. Let's move on to Ainsley. Ainsley made the Niles look like he's gonna move on to Rome on loan. So big good luck to him. Obviously, Hairland boy as well. I think he's been okay. I think he's probably been better than all these guys. Obviously got man of the match against Watford. He deserves more minutes, let's be honest. So I don't think he should be starting with this team. He's not going to come in at right back because he doesn't. I mean, we know he doesn't really enjoy playing there, and we've got Tomiyasu in there now, and he's got, obviously, with the amount of midfielders we've got and how well they're playing at the moment, as obviously he's going to struggle to get in central midfield, which is where he wants to play. But you know, his last game was man of the match against Watford, and I don't think he's played since. Good utility player, very versatile, decent player as well. I think he's been okay. Thomas Partey, again, like, we know how good this guy is, like, when he's fully fit. Another guy who unfortunately just struggled with injuries again. It's so frustrating because, again, like Gabriel, you can see the difference he makes to his team when he's in it. When he's on form, there's not many better midfielders in the league for me. It's just about, he just needs to be a bit more consistent. Obviously, he's been excellent recently against Norwich and Man City, especially. He's been absolutely superb, really showing the quality player he is. But I wouldn't put him very good. I put him in okay. I think, there we go. I think, obviously, he's had some poor games, but he's also had some really good games. Just needs to stay fit and be a bit more consistent for me there. Sambi, another one of our new signings, again, okay, along with his fellow midfield counterparts. A lot of our midfielders have been like decent this season. Central midfielders have anyway. Again, like Tavares, came in as a relative unknown. But yeah, I've really been impressed with this guy. The only reason I'm going to put him in okay is because recently he hasn't really been getting much minutes. I think hopefully he'll play against Nottingham Forest if that game's on. Because he looks like a really decent player. Again, so young, 21 years old. Really, I've been really impressed with his passing. Like, really impressive. Always looking to pass forwards as well, which is good. Can really see him being a really good player for the future for us. Again, another guy who didn't cost that much, came in as a relative unknown. Obviously, it was recommended to Arteta by Company and recommended to Edu by Thierry Henry. So high, obviously, when Vincent Company and Thierry Henry are recommending you, you're gonna have something about you, and he does. So credit to him there for coming in and doing well when he's played. Now, moving on to more of the forwards. Obviously, you could count like lots of Odegaard and Smith Rowe as midfielders, but then more forwards as well. So we're going to start with Martin Odegaard. And again, I think this is our last summer signing. Yes, it is. It's the last of our summer signings, who, by the way, have all been really good. Like, what a window that was. I really like him. I really like Odegaard. I'm a big fan of him. As someone whose favourite footballer of all time is Mesut Ozil, I really have like a thing for like number 10 for like creative players, and I really do see a lot of Mesut Ozil in Odegaard. But one different thing about Odegaard is that his work rate is absolutely brilliant. Like, if it's something you may not realise unless you go to games and if you're only watching on TV, the amount of pressing this guy does is absolutely brilliant. I do think he's being overlooked for the captaincy. I wouldn't, if he was given captain tomorrow. Obviously, we'll get onto that with Aubameyang, but if he was given captaincy tomorrow, I'd take that. I think I might just have a video talking about that because I do think Lacazette will be captain until the end of the season. We know that anyway, but that's another discussion for another video. But I think Odegaard did start slow. I mean, he had that obviously he scored the winner against Burnley in that big game, big goal that was, the free kick, very good finish. But recently he's been absolutely brilliant. Probably been our player of the month for December, really coming to his own. I'm going to put him very good. Maybe a bit of recency bias in that, but yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant. And now we're going to go on to Emil Smith Rowe, and for me it's got to be Player of the Year worthy. I really can't choose between these three, but Smith Rowe obviously hasn't been getting into the team lately because of Martinelli, and again we'll get to him. But yeah, honestly, I think I definitely saw this coming. We've known for a few years now, since 2018-19, how talented this guy is. Obviously came in the final 6 months of last season, made a real difference to that team when we were really struggling. Almost single-handedly turned that around. And for someone of his age coming through from the academy to do that is absolutely immense. Given number 10 and a brand new bumper contract in summer, and he's more than repaid that faith. 8 goals in the league already. He said he wanted 10 goal contributions in the league this season. He's already got it, and we're halfway through. So yeah, absolutely brilliant from Smith Rowe. What a superb talent he is. Another superb talent is Bukayo Saka. Again, what more do I need to say about this kid? I could put him in Player of the Year worthy. I don't know. I don't want to put too many in Player of the Year worthy. That's the thing, but I'm going to put him in very good just because I want to limit Player of the Year worthy to 3 people. But Saka would be the next one. Again, another guy who sort of started quite slow. I think he was maybe suffering a little bit of a hangover from that unfortunate Euros penalty miss. But in terms of the fan base, that just made him more loved. Just the courage to step up and take the most important penalty in the history of the English national team at someone his age shows immense bravery, and yeah, I think overall it's just made him a better player. Again, but because last few months he's been absolutely brilliant, coming up with goals as well. That's something which we wanted to see more from him. We know he's a brilliant dribbler. We know he's a great creator. We know he's Goldie's thing. One thing we really want to see a bit more from him is goals, and he's added that to his game. Scored against Man City, scored against Brace against Norwich, scored against Newcastle, scored against Spurs as well. So he really come to his own when it comes to scoring goals. And I mean, yeah, I genuinely think that in 5 years' time he could be one of the best players, not only in the Premier League but in the world. I just hope he stays with us for as long as possible, man. But yeah, honestly, it's probably between him and Martinelli who is my favourite player. But I don't. Again, that's another discussion for another time. But yeah, Bukayo Saka, what more do I need to say about him? Eddie Nketiah been brilliant in the Carabao Cup. Scored a hat-trick against Sunderland. Hasn't really featured much apart from that, but I'll put him in okay. I'll go there. Balogun. Do you know what? I'm gonna put Balogun in. It's time to go, but that's because of a loan. I don't want him to leave. He needs to go out on loan. He's been playing for the under-23s. He's a first-team player. He's registered in our first team as a first-team player. But obviously, he's been mostly playing for the under-23s. Been ripping it up there. He's too good for that level, but not good enough ready yet. He's not ready yet for the Premier League. Looks like he's gone on loan to Middlesbrough, which is really good. That is exactly what he needs, just to get out on loan to the Championship and see what he can do there. So best of luck to him. We'll be keeping tabs on how he does in the final 6 months of the season. Aubameyang, it's time to go. Let's be honest with Aubameyang. It really hurts me to say he's been one of my favourite players. He's been my favourite player for the last few years. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about Aubameyang because I could dedicate a whole video to him, and I think I will at some point. But I think it's best for everyone involved that he leaves the club. Pepe, again, okay. Again, another player I could dedicate a whole video to. Just hasn't really worked the transfer, which is a real shame. But we know that he's a talented player, but I don't. Yeah, he's been okay when he's played, but yeah, it's a shame about the transfers. Not really worked. And to finish off, both Lacazette and Martinelli for me are going to go in very good. We'll start with Lacazette. Hasn't scored many goals this season. I think he's only scored 3 or 4. But it's not really about the goals for me. When I look at him this season, it's about his work rate, his leadership, his courage, and he's good because I don't think we'll sign a striker in January as much as I think we'll get one in the summer. Obviously there's been links to Isaac or Vlahovic, Calvert-Lewin, but I think we'll wait till the summer. So from the final 6 months, unless the unlikely event that Aubameyang comes back in, Lacazette's going to be leading the line for the end of the season. And when we're chasing top 4, he's got to really step up. And so far, he has been doing that. He's a good leader. He's great with the younger players. He took over the captain's armband and done really well at that. I do think we play better with him up front than we do with Aubameyang. He's much better at linking play, which is what Arteta wants in a centre forward. The ability to score goals, but not only score goals, but drop deep and link play and get the others into the game, like to Martinelli and Saka on the wings. And yes, I really like that. I personally would give him a 1-year contract extension, but I have a feeling they won't do that, unfortunately. But that's what I would do. I would offer him a short-term deal. We'll see what happens there. And Martinelli, I'm slightly biased with this one because he arguably, again, like I said earlier, with Saka, probably is my favourite player. Hasn't featured loads, but recently, ever since he's come into the team, he has been absolutely sensational. Like, he is another incredibly talented player we've got. Just needs, again, someone who just needs to stay fit because we know he's got his injury problems, which is, again, a real shame. But when he has stayed fit, he scored a brace against Leeds. Even in the games he hasn't scored, like Man City, yes, he did that miss. Yes, he should have scored. But don't take anything away from him. He was still brilliant in that game. And yeah, I mean, it's a real credit to him that he's keeping a guy in Smith Rowe who's arguably been our player of the season out of the team recently. So yeah, there's the tier list. Looking at it now, I think that's pretty decent. So yeah, the season's not been too bad. I'm hoping for a decent end to the final half, second half of the season. Fingers crossed we can get top 4. That would be massive for the club. But hey, look, let's see how it goes. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and goodbye.